You are a busy working parent who is ending the school year and your kids are going to be with you all summer, or maybe they have a camp, maybe you have a family vacation coming up. You're going to be just in like parent mode all summer, and you're also trying to like not lose the momentum that you have created for like your business or anything that you have really cared about beyond parenthood. And so I wanted to just make this little video that is like a plan the summer with me type of video as a busy working parent. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Rachel and I am a career dancer who has also branched off to diversify my income into my own business with a wedding videography company. And then also I started to create kind of an online business and like digital products and content like this. I love to just talk about the life balancing business and motherhood now, especially I have a 3-year-old, so I'm a relatively new mom. If you watch some of my other videos, you see that I do a lot on digital planning, but I feel like I've never really touched more on the wall calendar that I started doing this year. I got this inspiration from Erin on Demand. I've also seen various other creators do the wall calendar method as well, and so I'm really trying to embrace it more, especially the second half of the year, because I feel like I didn't really look at it as much the first half of this year, but I really want to dive back into it, especially as we're about to be into June. And so I just feel like the summer break is the perfect time to kind of visualize, unplugged in a way, my entire summer and plan out like content to keep up with business demand and marketing demand, but then also be present as a mom. I want to plan a vacation. I also have Lana signed up for some camp. I still have to uphold my employment responsibilities with Universal as a contracted performer and dancer there. So let's go ahead and I will show you what I have so far and what I'm about to also put on the calendar. Okay, so this is my little corner that I have in my office. And so yeah, this is what I have so far for this year. I am actually in the process of updating a lot of like the colors because I just needed to buy more Post-it notes, and the ones I previously had, I couldn't find the colors. So I bought different color Post-it notes, which are going to be coming in soon. You can tell I have a kid. Look at this. Look at this. Also, I don't have the push pins on the bottom here because she can reach these, and so for safety, I just have it like that so that I can't actually like really have it flush against the wall. It just kind of floats, especially when the AC turns on. Sometimes it kind of like my little Post-it notes can sometimes fall off. But next year I definitely plan to like maybe do a project board, like the trifold kind, that I could just tuck this away, or it's gonna just be more sturdy, or I'll kind of frame this instead. So let's focus on summer break. So Lana's gonna still be in school. Let's see, her last day is actually Juneteenth. These purple ones, these are client projects that I do for wedding videography. And then just an FYI, at Universal, I'm contracted to be there dancing and performing in their shows on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Saturdays consistently every week. So I'm not putting those on here. That's just the routine that my husband and I know. I want to basically focus on tasks that need no distractions, like filming for YouTube, a quiet house on these orange days. And I'm also going to get into how I cycle sync and kind of decide the best sweet spot day in order to be able to create content and film. So I'll get into that in a minute. As you could see here, this big red squiggle, that's summer break, and she's going to be out of school. So we're looking at basically all of July except for 2 weeks. I need to be in mom mode this whole week, this week into here, this week into August, and then first day back to school is August 11th. So I'm already thinking, how can I consistently post something on YouTube once a week? I want to get my YouTube channel into I just feel like it's not a real YouTube channel yet by the end of, honestly, I would love to get it by the end of June right here. Okay, I had to switch over to my main camera because my phone died. I want to go over the steps to basically planning what you put on your calendar. And these are just the main things for me. And I think that you can expand upon this, but I really try to leave white space as much as I can. If you've seen my digital calendar video, which I'll link here, it's one of my most popular videos actually. I talk about like project white space, like you gotta have flexibility in your calendar as much as possible. But what I put on here is like bird's eye, high level, and then also things that I want to like really save time for and like not let these things just slip away, or also important stuff that I am committed to already. So I like to just keep those things on this calendar. Like I said before, the day-to-day stuff like daily tasks, I don't really put those in. And my standard work days of Monday, Tuesday, Saturday to Universal, I don't have those in there because this is basically goal setting, big picture, save the dates, all that stuff. So first step is I like to look at the quarterly goals or the quarterly focuses just to have those in mind as I plan out kind of like content more. And then usually those goals, it'll be like 2 of the focuses are maybe like business and goal related. And then one of them is usually like focused on just family and personal and a really like thing that would just be very life-giving thing to have succeeded at, or a personal goal. So yeah, personal plans. I like to first, you bring it over. So I'll get to the purple in a second, but the bluish green, this is vacation. So we're out of town for these dates. And then I always like to look at like holidays. So accounting for like holidays, this is Juneteenth. We then move over into July. I really don't have any like hard set commitments. I do always put down a date day. So like the 13th of every month, we try to have our monthly date night because we officially got married on the 13th, actually on Friday the 13th. In red are anything that is hard set and has no wiggle room. So moving into July and August, I have red for another birthday. So these are all personal dates, but I like to put them down and make them look very like urgent. This I actually did put into red because I just don't want to forget, and I want that to really stand out to me that that's her first day back to school. So yeah, that's what I do next. I'm gonna just go over this really quickly because I don't have a lot of client work, but client work and client commitments over the summer, this is in purple. So I pretty much kept all my client commitments off for the summer. Okay, next is cycle dates. You know, as a woman, you are going to be having your normal cycle. And if you don't have your period back from, being a mom, this might not necessarily pertain to you, but I always like to block out the first day of my expected menstrual cycle. And I put down rest, journal, and no phone. And then I have that again here for the top of July. And then in August as well. These are my rest days, and I'm not going to like plan filming content like when I'm on that. The next thing I want to get to is I'm going to show you how I distinguish what days I want to work on my business. So I'm trying to treat YouTube like a business more, and I want to be consistent with like 1 time a week. And so that being said, I'm going to show you where I decide to put my YouTube filming days. Additionally, before I forget, I always like to add in tentative personal plans as the final step. So this right here, I put a 1.5 week long trip ? And I highlighted it because I want to have that stand out to me. Okay, now let's pivot over to like business and marketing brain. So YouTube is the main thing that I'm choosing to focus on really for the rest of the year. Where it stands right now, this is what my YouTube filming days are going to look like. So like I said before, I like to do 2, maybe 3 videos per filming day. So then I'm going to just take off and get ready for this client that I have here on the 12th. And then also go into a vacation weekend. So I'm not going to do anything this week. It's just going to be literally like things are being edited and posting. And then I'm going to be going and pivot, like being more into personal life. And so when I come back, I'll be fresh. And then I'm going to do a YouTube filming day on this day. And then actually, as we get into summer, because like I said, this is the last day of school, I want my content to be ready, like batched as much as possible going into July, which is a very like empty month because I'll be like in mom mode a lot, except for these 2 weeks. And now you're probably wondering, well, why'd you pick these days? Well, Wednesdays and Thursdays are my days off from Universal. Now, usually I like to work on client work on Wednesdays, like wedding Wednesdays. I have another video about how I theme out my days, but I then like to do YouTube stuff on Thursdays. And then over here, you're probably wondering, well, why is this on Wednesdays? Well, these right here, this is Lana's last day of school. So I want to be present for picking her up for that. Usually on these filming days, I'm like working a little bit later than her pickup time. So I moved this to Wednesday. This little dot is a Q3 planning day. So I'm going to have that be right here. That is the gist of it. And these days are also falling in line when I'm going to have higher energy periods in my cycle. So this right here is actually like my ovulation week, because my cycle syncing calendar, it's the digital one that I was referring to before. I'll link it down in the description, but I basically import that into Google Drive, and then every month I just shift like when I actually started my period, and then everything shifts past it, and it updates all the way in the future indefinitely too. So I can always update it every single month, and then updates for the future. So as long as I'm on time for all of these, then this is going to fall into like my ovulation week when I'm the highest energy and most talkative. And then this right here is also going to fall into my ovulation week. And so, yeah, and this one right here is my ovulation week. This one is technically my luteal week, but it's at least the beginning of my luteal week. It's not, the week after where I'm starting to get into like closer to my period. So, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, that was a lot of chatting, but before I go, I will link other videos here that I think you might find helpful relating to like planning and like life, just organization and calm productivity. As long as I just look ahead like this, I feel like I'm just so much more successful at balancing things. Try to look ahead a little bit, not too far ahead. Like I said, I'm not really hyper planning anything into even the third quarter, but because this summer break as a working mom goes from quarter 2 into quarter 3, I like to in some ways be ready for quarter 3 as we get into July, even though it is currently May. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.